Attention, stop what you're doing. Because we're coming back to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Oh my God!
They went a little crazy with it, and I appreciate it.
Now let's get back with Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Welcome back to the show, everybody, and thanks for tuning in wherever you tune in, especially at WCPT820.com. Fantastic website for all your progressive and liberal talk needs in the Chicagoland area and elsewhere. Program at 8 a.m. 820 into your car's stereo. It's got buttons for a reason. You either press and hold, or you push program and then hold, but it's up to you. Just do it. It doesn't take work, and then you can just pop us on and go, oh, there's that guy again. I love him. He's hilarious and informative and right about everything. And then I'm on after that. Yeah. So there's been a lot of stories about how Joe Rogan is taking ivermectin, right? That's the story. Like, oh my God, Joe Rogan is taking ivermectin. I would like to say, for the record, Joe Rogan is not taking ivermectin. Joe Rogan is taking everything. Yeah. Joe Rogan had monoclonal antibodies, got a vitamin drip, took ivermectin, is getting like and that vitamin drip is like massive amounts of D and B vitamins and that kind of stuff. There's something else too. I forget. I'm leaving something out. He took an NAD drip.
Fish oil?
Yeah, fish oil. Yes. He got some sort of drip for his nads. He had dripping nads. I don't know what it says. NAD, whatever that is, and his thing. But the monoclonal antibodies. There it is. Okay, here's the New York Post article on him. He came back. He felt, quote, very weary. It's quite poetic language from Joe. We like, I had a headache and I just felt run down. He did test positive for COVID. So following his diagnosis, he opted to quarantine himself from his family and took medication. The medication the announcer said he took was monoclonal antibodies. You don't take monoclonal antibodies. You go to a medical facility and they run a bunch of it through your system. You're on a drip. It's a process. Ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone, everything, he said. I also got an NAD drip and a vitamin drip. I did that 3 days in a row. Here we are on Wednesday, and I feel great. Now, we all understand that about 80% of the people who get COVID are just carriers. They're just, you're just gonna be a delivery system. You're gonna, you may or may not get symptoms, and in that may or may not getting symptoms, you're carrying around and coughing it and spreading it all over. That's part of why it's so dangerous, is because a significant number of people have asymptomatic spread. So and some people seem to think that, like, well, that means I'm strong versus someone else's not strong. That's not how it works. And a lot of people, well, I have comorbidities and I'm worried about it, but other people don't have comorbidities and they don't worry about it. And then you find a bunch of people, especially in Florida right now, where they've got a bunch of 30-somethings with the Delta variant who are very sick and have no known comorbidities. Now, here's the thing. They might have comorbidities. They just may have never known that they have comorbidities. It ranks right up there with the cardiac problems related to the Moderna vaccine. It's seen in males, mostly 15 and up. Well, males 15 to 24 have a higher rate of like pericardia and those kind of like heart issues anyways. But most of them don't see the doctor. They just feel like crap, think they have a flu, and it's really heart fluctuation, heart palpitations or whatever, and they just feel run down or worn out, and then it passes. So they never know they went through that. But now, because they've just been vaccinated, they're being checked out by the doctor, and they're very concerned that, their parents have taken them to the doctor, and thanks to the Affordable Care Act, they're still on their parents' health care plan.
Right.
They're going to the doctor more often. So more guys who would get this are going to the doctor and finding out that they have this heart issue temporarily, which a lot of guys get, but just sleep through, essentially. Just blow it off over a couple days. They just feel bad for a couple of days, and then they move on. So they find more of these cases. There's most of the studies about these, heart-related issues with the vaccines. And again, they seem solely around Moderna that there seems to be the trace. Now, that might have been who and where, parts of the country that went with Moderna or people that didn't want Pfizer right away. So the people who go to the doctor less are concerned with these things and then get a little more nervous about stuff got Moderna because it came a little later, didn't trust the first one out of the gate, went and got the second one, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of factors in there where that could make this statistical noise, could make these 200 cases out of whatever, 3 million inoculations in this particular study.
So this whole Joe Rogan thing, where does that leave somebody like Alex Jones?
Well, Alex Jones, let's hear from Alex Jones. Alex Jones apparently went to the pharmacist after talking to his doctor and came back with a little bag. Let's give it a listen.
Care people.
By the way, that's the sound of him opening his bag. You know that sound. You know that bag sound.
Overhead shot, please. You know what this is? This is ivermectin for humans. It won a Nobel Prize as an antiviral. And this
first of all, no, it did not.
As an antiviral.
It won a Nobel Prize as an anti-parasitic. Now, there have been a bunch of studies about it being, quote unquote, a wonder drug leading up to 2015, 2017. Its possibility for anti-cancer properties and antiviral properties. There's possibilities around it. None of it studied in a controlled setting, and all of it, if you read any of the literature, its safety. And I will quote directly from, let's see if I have the actual page to pull up, from the medical literature around it, says the safety and efficacy are dose dependent, meaning it's only safe if you're taking the right dose and your doctor is overseeing your dosage. Outside that window, it is not safe. And by the way, there's an overhead shot in this, for those of you that haven't seen the video, and I'll link it on social media and also show it on the screen here. There's an overhead shot of him, ivermectin tablets, 3 milligram tablets. There's 20 of them in there, 2 foil strips of 10 tablets each, by prescription only.
Why am I feeling aroused?
I don't know.
Why is this getting to me?
I don't know. And he's taking methylprednisolone. I don't know. It might be the horse thing. It might just be.
I'm leaving that there though, and I'm carrying on without you.
Right. And he's got 4 milligram tablets of methylprednisolone that he's taken, which are steroids, to protect you from when your system is being overrun, and it helps your body fight back. And by the way, singers take prednisone and the like in multiple forms for when their throats are worn out and that kind of stuff. But people like athletes take these things for busted knee.
Is he sick? What is he doing?
Well, that's the thing. We know that Joe Rogan has admitted to a COVID diagnosis.
Right.
It is unclear from this video whether Alex Jones is taking this as a prophylactic choice, which might be why it's getting you excited, or if he has been diagnosed and is freaking out. Because if you listen, well, let's continue. Here, listen to him.
Yes.
or these are the tablet steroids. So let me show you. I was going to do this anyways earlier.
He's taking them on air, by the way.
I'm so sorry. I've heard.
See this, Fauci? You see this, Bill Gates? I'm going to kill those prions, you bastard murderers, and hit me with a bioweapon, you monster. You want to suppress me? You want to kill me, you son of a bitch? You goddamn demon? You think I'm easy to kill? Think I'm going to roll over to your...
By the way, he's taking, right now, he's about to take a pill of ivermectin.
I've heard so many impressions of him that I thought were like...
You want to do this? Huh?
Or like...
We have the documents.
I was like, oh, well, that's funny, but it's a little over the top. But yeah, I mean, that really is kind of him. He is so much beyond the impression.
Oh, yeah. He's a walking self-parody. It's amazing. And he's about to, and for those of you listening on radio, you have to understand, he is about to wash it down with Perrier. If I can... if anything sums this up, because he's watching his weight. All right.
No, And Joe Rogan kicked your murdering ass too. You'd love to bury him too, you little monster maggot. He's in this National
By the way,
Geographic.
Monster Maggot is my third favorite, like trog metal band. I'm just saying.
Oh, I don't usually deal with my enemies right away. I get them later. Yeah, you creep up on with a poison injection, dressed up in a lab coat, you little Joseph Mengele, Nuremberg Code violating monster.
He's talking about
Damn monster.
And then he tosses a prednisolone down his throat and just swigs back some Perrier. But lime Perrier. You know the Perrier that comes kind of pre-flavored? He's drinking a lime Perrier because I have to say the original version is a little harsh.
Yeah.
See our little cancer proteins like that. Nobel Prize winning for humans. Nobel Prize winning for humans. Nobel Prize winning for humans. No.
As an anti-parasitic.
Prize winning for humans. Nobel Prize winning for humans. What, 2005? Nobel Prize winning for humans. Oh, Joe Rogan. He went and drank the horse paste. He's stupid. I bet he got it from Alex Jones.
Well, no, neither of them are taking the horse paste. They're both getting,
My God.
yes, tiny doses from their doctor to placate them while putting them on regular stuff. And by the way, like I said, we'll play the rest of this when we come back because there's a couple. It gets funnier.
At least this is like it's a measured testimony of his experience.
Right. And somebody in the chat room is like, medications do not win Nobel Prizes. I know. Yeah, it's the discovery of the potential for stuff. Ivermectin did not win a Nobel Prize. The discovery of a certain element found in the dirt outside of Tokyo, which led to its use as antiparasitics, antivirus, that substance, which is not ivermectin. There's avermectin. There's variances on it because the base substance is what won the Nobel Prize. This is just so dumb. It's so childishly like just stomping your feet and thinking you know better than medicine. Yes, somebody said, didn't dynamite win a Nobel Prize? No, dynamite is where the Nobel Prize gets its name because the invention of dynamite was supposed to end all wars. That worked. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Hal Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Nobel Prize winning for humans. Nobel.
Oh, my God.
We'll be back. I'm only on one day a week. I get it. I'm going to have to jump on GarageBand and start sawing something together. This is the Hal Sparks Show. And a guitar note, and then progressive. And all, yeah, it's going to be good.
Hey, Hal, did you mean something like this?
This is the Hal Sparks Show. And a guitar note, and then progressive. And all, yeah, it's going to be good.
The Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah, that's right. We're a real radio show. We've been on for like 10 years. That's kind of amazing to me.
Flag and dagger.
Flag and dagger, wow, splang. Yeah. And I suppose, if I wanted to BS my listeners and
Nobel Prize for humans.
Nobel Prize for humans. Yeah. And like that, or if I wanted to just be the weed spokesman for a generation, I could probably be in the financial situation that Alex or Joe find themselves in right now. Honest to God. But I can't lie for a living, unlike Alex Jones. Now, let's finish what he was saying about ivermectin winning a Nobel Prize, for humans, which it did not. The substance that it's based on, the discovery of the substance that led to ivermectin, avermectin, and some of the otother therapeutics.
You like to be a Mectin
to be a Bectin, eat apple pectin. All right.
Apple pectin.
It rhymes. Can you imagine if a typo caused all these people, instead of getting ivermectin, they start,
apple pectin.
Yeah, they start eating like wax. Why is Alex Jones gnawing on a Yankee candle at the mall? He thinks it's going to keep COVID at bay. Jeez.
He does smell vanilla.
Someone
fresh,
call the
though.
cops. He smells like autumn, July 4th, something. I don't know what that is. He smells like caramel sunshine. I don't know what the heck those Yankee Candle smells are. Here it is. Okay.
They're both so dumb. They're both going to be dead. Yeah, that's why Joe's worth like $300 million. Yeah, he's real stupid.
Yes. No one rich has ever died by their own hand or by making a mistake. Should we just go through and look at like millionaire idiot dies falling off eating, blah, 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 being told,
crashing some invention.
I'm sorry. How many poor people have died eating blowfish? Right? Right? How many like, the one thing I want to try, man, is that blowfish. You know what I mean? And I found this lovely place. It's a food truck on the edge of town. They serve blowfish. I'm going to give it a try. No, it's always some rich idiot or his date who dies eating blowfish. So that I don't know why he thinks being wealthy inoculates himself.
Lives in a $60 million house on the river. You leftists taking all the shots and dying are the dumbasses. He's the one that headlines with Dave Chappelle, not you. You're stupid.
Yes, that's the indication of intelligence. Headlining with Dave Chappelle. I know a lot of guys who've done shows with Dave Chappelle. Chris D'Elia, I think, did shows with Dave Chappelle in New York. He got busted for grooming teenagers. There's a bunch of like Greg Giraldo, bless his heart. He passed away. I believe it was drug related. He's done shows with Dave Chappelle. They knew each other. Is that any indication? But I mean, you're the ones that are stupid. Okay.
Yeah.
And I sure wish you'd wake up. But you sit there calling me stupid, an independent media person that built the biggest independent media operation in the world, that changed the whole paradigm with my badass listeners. And you sit
change the whole paradigm. Yes, we used to have a paradigm where the news meant something and you could trust it, and you would occasionally, when it came to things like the Vietnam War, you'd have to weigh it against the reality of them trying to like mitigate messaging and stuff. And you could do your own reading and stuff. And then he changed the paradigm by basically legitimizing flat earthers. That's great. Yeah. Hold on. There's still a little bit more. Hold on.
At us. Medical doctors gave that to me. It is incredible. It helped.
Medical doctors gave that to me. Oh, good Lord.
So when are medical doctors good and when are they bad?
Right. Yeah. So your doctor is only of value if you can bully them into. I mean, you want to see what this is an extension of more than his ridiculousness. This is the ask your doctor about the purple pill. This is the madness that comes from advertising medical treatments and medications on regular television shows and telling the public.
Countries think that is the craziest stuff they've ever seen.
Right. And this is
it only happens here.
The natural conclusion of that kind of stuff. This is what happens when you take someone who's, got a screw loose and a couple of blown fuses, being, insisting that their doctor give them the thing that they heard about that they think is better for them than what the doctor suggests or wants, right? There's this treatment. I know there's this treatment that can deal with exactly what's wrong with me. Give it to me or else. And by the way, if anybody doesn't think that Alex Jones hasn't doctor shopped for a lunatic who will give him anything, because there is no way that he isn't on Provigil, or modafinil, like the kind of stimulants they give to fighter pilots, that kind of stuff. You can tell, but I mean, Ben Shapiro, all those guys, they all have the same verbal cadence, and you can tell. And largely, it's medicinal. He gets jacked up on this stuff before doing the show. It's one of the reasons why his rage fits.
It helped me, it helped everybody, and it's approved for humans for all sorts of viral stuff, but that murderer Fauci doesn't want you to know because he wants the planet for himself, and he wants you dead. Well, guess what, Fauci? We ain't rolling over and dying so easily, you little murderer.
Yeah, so...
he wants the planet for himself?
Yes.
So he can stand atop, Mount Rushmore and say, I've done it?
Yes, that Fauci is. I mean, this is it. This is the concept of the depopulation scheme. And again, I've said this many times. Let's say, if we can, let's just say for a moment that you have a depopulation scheme, that you want to wipe out most of the people on the earth, right? Not all of them. You're going to need some people to run stuff, right? You're going to need some smart people that can keep the cell phone towers up, who know how to service a robot, you know, when your sex robot goes down and your anti-gravitational meditation egg that you sit in most of the day when you deal with your fear of being lonely on a planet of all the people you wiped out and your own guilt.
When we're looking for the people to kill, how do we determine who should we kill? Should we kill the people that like are freedom fighting, independent, free thinkers, or do we kill the people who will actually listen to us?
Right. So let's say you've got to inject them to kill them. You have to get a needle in their arm. You have a limited number of needles. You have a limited number of the substance. You have to wipe out 7, out of 8 billion people to even get these numbers manageable. I mean, come on. If you're going to really, if you're talking Depop, and they are, and he means under 500 million people on the whole earth. That's what Alex Jones always talks about. If you're going to get those numbers, you're not going to get those numbers by the people you get the injection into. You're going to get those numbers by the people that you don't bother to inject. If you have any plan, I mean, just on a logical level, you're better off creating, I don't know, in a lab, in theory, a disease that runs rampant that you can cure, and making sure that the people who are sensible, who want to be part of functioning society, who are decent and whatever, then your way of thinking, or at least are on board with your way of thinking, they get the shot. And the people who would fight you at every turn and are lunatics who will take horse paste don't get the shot. You would want to talk them out of it, right? That's somebody.
It does not survive the smell test.
No, it does not.
There's a professor on TikTok who has a conspiracy theory philosophy class where he takes every conspiracy theory that he feels that he can examine past, the initial
that has any depth to it. Yeah.
Right. And he'll take it and he'll put it in a project management model.
Right. Oh my God.
Right. Here's what the dependency would be for this to be successful.
Well, I once did. I started with the whole Q thing at one point, and then it just got overwhelming, and I didn't care anymore because it got so out of hand. One of those decision tree thought bubble things where you can,
exactly.
You break down like this thought leads to this, and these people are connected, and and it started to look like one of these, Glenn Beck blackboard schemes, right? Mm-hmm. And it all ended, because I was going to build a comedy bit on it where I showed it on screen and kind of went through the whole thing and maybe did an hour comedy bit on it, and I may still, because it still exists. But it all ended up with every last branch finally ended up with someone just screaming into a microphone. You know what I mean? Just, and that's exactly where Alex Jones is. You can't, and that's what his audience has to think, because that's the other thing. If you're selling this to your audience, there's no way you can do it calmly or clearly. You have to end up screaming. And the other idea, too, is that, and this is why eventually they all eat themselves, is there's a whole crowd of people who thinks that Alex Jones is a Zionist propagandist for the Rothschilds, and this is all but a big scheme, and he's actually a CIA mole and created to fill the universe with disinfo and all this stuff. Because you can't...
They've gone all the way around.
Right. Well, there's always horseshoe theory when it comes to conspiracies. Because if to maintain that level of paranoia, you have to suspect everyone, and eventually you're like,
you have to say that the left installed Trump into office.
Right, exactly. Yes, because they wanted to make you look bad or make it look like every conservative is a genital grabbing creep, right?
Okay, the jury's still out, but okay, I'm with you.
All right, we have to take a break. We'll be back right after this. But I would like to say that for all the people who are saying that, and then the news media Stop saying that Joe Rogan is taking ivermectin. Joe Rogan took everything, okay?
Yeah.
They threw the kitchen. He even says he threw the kitchen sink at this. And the ivermectin he took was the regular parasitic, anti-parasite dose that your doctor gives you if you have massive scabies for 3 days. He's not taking horse paste. He's not taking, a variant on it. His doctor is monitoring his dosage massively. If he showed any of the negative signs besides explosive diarrhea, his doctor would take him off of it immediately.
It'd be
because
a shame if you had any sound effects about those side effects.
Oh, I know. It would be horrifying if we actually had
hope that you're above that.
like a recording live of let's go live to Joe Rogan's house.
Back off. You know it's wrong.
Captain's log.
I can hear those toxins leaving his
They
body.
are. The toxins are leaving his body right now. So we'll be back right after
You
this.
just gotta relax. Let it happen.
Just let it go. Yeah, don't fight it, Joe. Joe, don't fight it, man. Your doctor knows what's best for you.
This is Damian Perdue of Think Theory Radio, Saturdays at 6 p.m. You're listening to Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I thought there was going to be like a new one every break. I was so excited.
You want more, Hal? We'll give you more. Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820. Hoo-yah!
I think, by the way, welcome back to the show. Streaming live at infotainmentwars.com, where you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. I recommend it. Please do it. Our call-in number is 773-763-9278. 773-763-9278. And I think today, Alex Jones wins our 5 Eggs Award.
5 eggs.
He is definitely getting 5 eggs today.
5 eggs. 5 eggs in a month.
That's right. We can only afford to do that.
5 eggs.
Go out to Alex Jones, one for every shape of his head. Who he looks like an ostrich egg grew a beard. If you've ever seen what Alex looks like, and by the way, no indication.
He's kind of excitable.
Yeah. One would think maybe perhaps that the TRT is a little maybe tap down the dosage on his testosterone replacement therapy, because it seems to be making him a little anxious.
He's
I think is the word that Beetlejuice used. Getting a little anxious, if you know what I'm saying. But also, like I said, there is a reasoning why Alex Jones has to do this performative rage for his audience, because he knows it's crap. He knows he's lying. And I've mentioned this before, and some of you may know or not know, but I was on Alex Jones' show with my buddy Richard Hunter. Richard Hunter is a great man. Lives here in the Las Vegas area, but he used to live in Dallas, Texas, and he was on the radio there for a long time. Had a morning show back when morning shows were a big thing, and did great and was terrific at it, and knew Alex from the local market, right? So at one point, and this was during the Obama years, Richard and I go on Alex's show as guests. And this is before he has his big space station set and all that stuff, before he monetized this lunacy to the level he has it at now, the multi-$100 million empire that he has, selling pills that will put lead in your pencil and lead in your veins. His testosterone pills that apparently had traces of lead in them and got an FDA hit and had to pull them down. I mean, he's in the supplement and prepper food market, and it's a huge market. If you don't believe me, look at Jim Bakker's entire religious programming schedule. It's all around selling you buckets of food for the end times, which would say to me they don't actually believe their religious message, because why would you be around after the rapture if you weren't a good Christian?
Yeah,
and if you're a good Christian,
sucked up into heaven.
Right. And why, if you're a good Christian that follows Jim Bakker, would you need food for after that? And if you are stuck around, maybe you did something wrong. Maybe you shouldn't be eating. Maybe tribulation is a real thing, right? So anyways, we went on there, and both of us, managed to get Alex to admit some stuff on the air. One being that Barack Obama wasn't evil. I got him to say that. And that and Richard got him to admit that there were good things in the Affordable Care Act. Which is, I mean, in and of itself, the fact that there's tape of him saying this on the air would probably end his, most of his viewers, watching him now if those clips were to, I don't know, resurface. But during the breaks on his show, and if you ever want to see what happens during the breaks on this show, go to infotainmentwars.com or go to flank.com on twitch.tv/HalSparks. And during the commercials, which you should be patronizing, by the way, because they help WCPT, you can see what we talk about. Like, I don't hide any of it. I don't go to break and say something separate from what I'm saying on the air. Maybe it's a little saucier than the language I can use on air, but it's the same message, same ideology, same ethics, same everything, right? Because I am, the hobgoblin of little minds. I am consistent, if not anything. And if anything. And so during the breaks, he talked about the anti-Hillary Clinton documentary movie that he went to see, which, by the way, would ultimately be the Citizens United movie. Turn out to be that movie that caused the whole Citizens United. And he was talking about how he went to the premiere of this thing and how she was a demon. But at this premiere, at this Austin movie theater where they had this, they had the most amazing, they had great red wine and the most amazing chocolate cake he had ever had. And he and his wife couldn't stop eating it. And he had like 3 pieces, and they were huge, giant deli-sized slices of chocolate cake, which, looking at Alex Jones, is no surprise he would eat 3 slices of chocolate cake that big.
I'd smash a piece of chocolate cake.
Oh, yeah. And then a bunch of red wine. So he was a little like hungover and sugared over during the show was kind of his talk, but he would have kept eating it. Now, here's my problem with the whole story. Let's put aside the fact that it's unhealthy to eat that much chocolate cake at one sitting. Let's put aside the fact that that he drank that red wine and by the half gallon apparently and drove home. Yeah. He was the driver. His wife and he went together. He was driving his car, so he's basically admitting to us off air that he was driving drunk, essentially, getting home from this thing. If you believe for a second anything in the Hillary Clinton documentary that she is rounding people up and that they are planning an Agenda 21 Jade Helm thing where they scoop up people and put them in concentration camps, you believe any of that stuff, would you, A, show up in public at a movie theater that was showing, that was making the premiere of a movie against, someone who is worse than Hitler by his estimation? Let's just say you were it was 1935, and you're in Germany, and somebody's putting out an anti-Hitler documentary, and they're rounding all the people up who feel this way in a theater to watch said documentary, and they're serving food at this thing. Do you think anyone who was an enemy of Hitler would have gone to this documentary screening and eaten any of the food there? Are you insane? What are you talking about? You would have to be, it's a suicide mission. You'd be crazy to do that if it were true, if any of it were true, if it was even remotely close to true, if half of what he was saying on the air about Hillary Clinton was true, your life is in danger just talking about the woman, much less eating everything in the buffet, by the fistful at a documentary that finally is going to bring her down, right? It goes to Alex Jones is the puffy David Icke. And David Icke, if you don't know, writes all the books about alien lizard people who are drinking human milkshakes, who've taken over all the military bases in the world. And we're allowed to use the surface, but if you go, more than 2 stories below the surface, it's all run by lizards and they're liquefying humans, and that's how they do it, right? He's written multiple books on this. He came out as in I want to say 81. He was a sportscaster. Told everybody that he was Jesus. A year later said, actually, I'm not Jesus. I just have been talking through and to Jesus, and Jesus is telling me all this stuff, and the aliens are here, and they're liquefying us, and they're eating us. And in telling that, he is a millionaire now. He sold millions of, copies of his books in multiple languages. He's still alive, he's still puffy, and he's still getting the same dumb haircut. It's ridiculous. It's hilarious. It's very Tiger King. If you don't know, he's got a very Tiger King hairdo. But Alex Jones based his entire methodology on David Icke's money-making scheme. And Joe Rogan created the kind of softball weed version of that, which is a lot more palatable for people. It's much more the George Norrie zone of things. We have to take a break. But this is a money-making scheme. Russell Brand is now carving off his version of this and is making millions of dollars and buying houses in the country, pretending that the world is against him when it couldn't care less. We'll be back.